And the annual and the spring meeting of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank Group, which commenced on the 9th of this month in Lima, Peru, concluded today with the attendance of finance ministers and central bank governors from around 180 countries and regions.
On the final day of the meetings, the focus shifted to the obstacles to ending extreme poverty and boosting shared prosperity, climate change, weak global growth and ongoing crisis in fragile states. In its communique, the Development Committee said economic risks have risen for 2015 and 2016, weighing on confidence in many developing countries. One pressing global issue that drew particular attention was the global crisis surrounding refugees and migrants. The Development Committee in the communique said the crisis requires targeted support for countries and regions in turmoil, especially in the Middle East and North Africa, but also in other fragile and conflict states. It also urged the Bank Group and IMF to help countries stem illicit finance and the underlying activities, including tax evasion, corruption, criminal activities and collusion that deprive developing countries of vital resources they need. IMF Managing Director Christine Lagarde stressed on the importance of social and climate issues as an integral part of social development goals.
It sounds a bit funny when the IMF works on inequality. Sounds a bit funny when the IMF works on gender and on women's participation in the economy. It sounds a bit funny when the IMF worries about climate change and determines that the excessive subsidies for fossil oil, for instance, is something that should be transitioned towards a better use of public funding. We're not alone in this initiative. As I said, I think we've also demonstrated that it is in countries' self-interest to move in that direction. But it is in our collective interest, and as a multilateral institution we have to participate in this effort. It is in our collective interest to also act together.
World Bank President Jim Yong Kim said the world's wealthiest countries will most likely be able to reach the goal of providing $100 billion a year by 2020 to help developing countries fight climate change.
Led by countries around the world, as well as funding from the multilateral development banks, including the World Bank Group, we are seeing that there is a politically credible pathway toward the $100 billion promised ahead of Paris. We will significantly scale up our commitments to battle climate change. This was a tough decision for us, but it's the right thing to do.
Now, because Sri Lanka has high political recognition, we have received a good opportunity, as there is a certain amount of interest among the international community to give us assistance. What we made clear and direct at this occasion was the fact that apart from us gaining any benefit, we do not intend on obtaining any conditions-based loans. I constantly reiterated that there have been misconceptions that through the funds of the World Bank and the IMF, the people would be deprived of their benefits. We completely reject these sentiments, stating that once we come to any such agreements, there will be no involvement from their part. They only opted to assist in our agenda, and that this will only be done based on your request and not any other deception. So we have requested them to provide us assistance in education, health, provide jobs for our youth, infrastructure and opportunities for women. Now they are waiting to see how the situation would transpire with the new budget. We expect a certain kind of assistance through this.